Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. My name is Iswadi bin Radzali, JP1031917. Today I would like to present about JIF481. For the experiment 1, for the logic gate, the objective of this experiment is to design simple logic circuit from the logic gate, not AND, nor NAND, NAND, and XOR gates. And the second objective is to investigate the operation of the not and nor, NAND, and XOR gates. In this lab, I explore the functions of the basic logic gate. I learn how to implement them on the breadboard with the integrated circuits. I learn the output voltage of the breadboard circuit using the multimeter and ensure the result corresponded with the truth table of the logic gates. Students learn how to follow the lab manual, how to use the breadboard, how to use the equipment in the lab, and also how to properly design and test the circuits. The second experiment is digital electronic adder and flip-flop circuits. The objective of this experiment is to understand the process of the additions of binary number through the functions of the half adder and full adder circuits. A basic binary adder circuit can be made from the standard and XOR gate, allowing to us add together two single bit binary number A and B. The additions of these two digits produce an output called the sums of the additions, and the second output called the carry or carry out. Bit according to the rule for binary additions. One of the main use for the binary adder is arithmetic and counting circuits. The third experiment is computerized spectrometer gratings. The objective of these experiments is to determine the wavelength of the colors in the spectrum of the various discharge lengths. From this experiment, actually we have to understand the basic energy concept and Beer-Lambert's law. Energy is transmitted via electromagnetic wave which has a frequency and wavelengths. The wavelength of the electromagnetic wave form a spectrum from very short cosmic wave to radiations longer than thousands km. The UV and visible light portion is routinely used in biochemical laboratories. We may refer to the basic diagram of the energy. The experiment number 4 is velocity of light measurements. The objective of this experiment is to determine of the viscosity of light in air, in water, and the synthetic resins, and also we have to calculate the refractive index of water and synthetic resins. So based on the experiments, we can say that the density and the viscosity of the fluids might be effect to the velocity of the light, as we notice that the speed of light is 3 times 10 power of 8, and then we have to compare the velocity of the light in the air, synthetic resins, and also the water. So we have to see the trend whether it is increase or decrease once we change the fluids. The next experiment is absorption of the battery in aluminium. The objective of this experiment is to determine of the maximum energy for the beta particle from a radioactive source. And also we have to determine the count rate as a function of the absorbance thickness of different materials. And also we need to determine the R max from the plot of count rates against absorber thickness. Then calculate the E max, draw the pilots on a semi log graph as well. Have the several tips is you want to conduct for these experiments. The first one is we have to know how to handle the radiation source. And then the second one, if to make your life simpler, is better if for a fixed source you perform the counting always over the same time intervals, including background counts. And the third one is remeasure the background often to make sure it does not fluctuate too much. The last experiment is Michelson interferometer. The construction of the Michelson interferometer using separate components. The interferometer is used to determine the wavelength of the laser light. The contrast function K is qualitatively recorded in order to determine the coherence length. And the second one is to determine the wavelength of the light. The path distance between M3 and BS must be changed. In this experiment, the famous Michelson interferometer and some of its users are investigated. When the setup correctly, the Michelson interferometer is used in conjunction with a gas cell and vacuum pumps to investigate the dependence of the reflective index of air on the pressure and to simplify measure to reflective index of air. Finally, the band pass of the wavelength filter to measure using the interferometer. Thank you.